In today's podcast, I am just going to talk about all the K-dramas that I have watched in 2023 so far. So, stay tuned. I'm Monique. I am the host of Off by Purple Heart podcast, where I talk about basically K-dramas that I love, K-dramas I'm currently watching, and BTS and whatever else I want to talk about. So in this episode, I'm going to just go over some of the K-dramas that I've watched this year, and they're not going to be ranked in any particular order, but I'm just going to give my thoughts in general. And I'm going to start off with probably the best K-drama that has come out in 2023 so far. I feel like if you're even a casual watcher of K-dramas, or you're someone that's just starting to get into K-dramas, you most likely have heard of The Glory and or Squid Game. Like, those I think are the most popular in that kind of subgenre of thriller. But The Glory is absolutely phenomenal. I can't rave about that enough. I think everyone that has watched that show basically has good things to say. The Glory, mainly the main story is a girl that has been relentlessly bullied throughout high school and was brutalized and traumatized in the worst way, grows up and gets the coldest, most ruthless revenge on her bullies. And it's extraordinarily satisfying to watch. So season 1 aired last year, season 2 concluded this year. Out of the 2 seasons, I would say that I preferred season 1. There's a lot of different things that I liked about it. I liked the mounting tension of season 1 a lot. I liked, there was like a little interesting interlude with the main character and the main bully that is basically the engineer of all the grief that she had to endure, her husband. And I feel like the main character and the main bully that was harassing her, they had a really interesting dynamic and chemistry, and I knew that the creator was not looking for that at all. She wasn't aiming to do that, but I thought their tension was just so good and delicious that that really enhanced my enjoyment of the show. Plus, there's just so much mystery, right? There was so much mystery around the main character and her lead love interest as well. You were kind of trying to figure out what's his deal. The second season definitely answered a lot of the questions, and I think it resolved itself at a satisfactory level. And overall, I just enjoyed the ride. The writing's phenomenal. The acting was like top tier. Everyone brought it and then some. So I have nothing but high praises for The Glory. I also watched The Good Bad Mother. I think I always mess up the order of that title, but I'll show a picture of what I mean. This one is more of a melodrama. The main conflict in the story, which is basically implied in the title, is that a mom and her son have this really up and down adversarial type relationship. The mother has gone through an extremely traumatic event. Her husband died in a very mysterious way, and at first it looks like it was an accident, and you find out through the show, no, there was a lot more machinations at play. And the mom essentially molds her child into being a bright academic student so that he can go on to be a prominent lawyer and basically find and avenge those that have wronged her and her husband. And throughout the show, there is a lot that is commentary around their relationship and how toxic it is, and how, as much as she loves her son, she does some of the most deplorable things to him to get him to the point where she needs him to be, to avenge all that has gone on in her life. I will say, I think this drama is phenomenal for acting. So if you just want an amazing acting class, if you want to see top tier performances, this is definitely a drama for you. If you like, again, in the more thriller umbrella, I think The Good Bad Mother is an amazing show to watch. Me personally, I had a hard time with it because I just thought the mother's actions were more deplorable than not. I had a really hard time with how she treated her son. And there's so many twists and turns throughout this show. Like, I am really giving you a really small, brief synopsis of it. There's a lot of her actions that I disagreed with, and a lot of the viewers that have loved the show said she was justified in what she was doing because she was experiencing a lot of grief on her own as well, and everything that she did was understandable as far as narratively. But that doesn't change the fact that the actress, I think, did such a good job in displaying the level of cruelty that the mom had towards her son that it was just very uncomfortable to watch. I think I got up to about the last episode, and overall I just didn't enjoy it as much as others, but I will admit that it is a really well acted show, really well acted. I cannot take that away from it, but I would say proceed with caution with that one, especially with heavy material, because there's a lot of heavy material in that show as well. I also watched Celebrity. Celebrity was a deeply unserious show. I said this on my TikTok. This show was very stylistic. I'll give it props for it just being a really well filmed show. It looks really good. The OST is addictive in Celebrity, and it is a very fast-paced show. I believe the runtime for most episodes is around 40 minutes, so it's very bingeable. I think it's about 12 episodes, and if you're someone that likes Gossip Girl or Pretty Little Liars, but you want it a little bit more aged up, I think Celebrity is a great show for you. For me, I had some problems with it. I love the lead character, and I love that the initial basis of the show is basically a riches to rags story where the main character starts off from a very rich, affluent family, and then her father ends up losing it all. And then her and her mom end up struggling quite a bit, and her mom ends up being like a seamstress. And now the main lead character basically becomes like an Avon lady. She's hawking off like really cheap makeup, and she's struggling to make ends meet. And she reconnects with like an old friend from early on in childhood who ends up being this massive influencer. And she kind of brings her into this world, and the main character takes it upon herself to start getting into the world of influencing. And she realized this is how bloody and cutthroat and brutal it is. It's a very intriguing synopsis for the show, and the trailers for it were phenomenal. But I had a lot of problems with the show. For one, the main love interest that the lead character has is the typical Chernobyl rich guy, and the way he presents himself is not very favorable, and he just comes off really sleazy throughout the majority of the show. But they just have such good chemistry. I totally get why people fell in love with the show too. There's a lot of misogyny in the show as well, and you know, depending on the drama, I can kind of overlook some misogyny. I can overlook some questionable scenes in the name of good writing and good acting. And I'm not taking away from the actors in this show. I think they did a great job, and it's very thrilling. But the misogyny was almost a little too much for me personally, and it's so deeply unserious. There was a lot of scenes that made me scratch my head, and I was like, the love interest and their entire relationship really made me scratch my head. There's like this infamous scene too that went viral several times on TikTok that I'm probably going to do a separate episode about that alone, because it was through this edit that made me actually want to get into the show. But yeah, Celebrity was something else. Another one that I watched was Bora Deborah, and it goes by another name as well. Very interesting show. The main character, she is a dating coach expert, has her own radio show, super popular, super affluent, and it all goes to hell very quickly. Write a book, and she's being approached by a major publisher in the industry because she's a very popular personality, and she links up with this guy that is a CEO of a major publishing house, and they don't hit it off very well at all. At all. He is very much a grump and basically thinks her dating advice is superfluous, necessary, and has a chip on his shoulder about love in general. And she kind of is feisty and she pushes back. And then it just happens that her fiance, or a man that she's in a long-term relationship with that she wants to be engaged to, basically dumps her. And then we get into the real nitty-gritty of the story. I thought the two leads' chemistry was phenomenal, and it was kind of squandered and lost. One of the things I did like about the show is that it really did a realistic portrayal on depression and grief when you've suffered like a major breakup, which a lot of viewers, I think, took opposite of that. I think a lot of viewers going into this show did not like the fact that it was less about the rom-com and more about the female lead's journey into healing after like a major breakup, and it basically shifting her entire career, because she's renowned for her dating advice and being able to keep a man and how to lock a man in. And for her to go through something like that, she goes through a major personality transplant and has a lot of personal growth. And I thought that was fascinating. The show kind of loses its steam a little bit. So it's one that is very mixed reviews for a lot of people, but I would say give it a chance, because I do think it's really refreshing how they tackle the grief portion of the show. In my humble opinion, anyways. I remember watching Forbidden Marriage as well. Very funny, zany type show, historical drama. Really liked it. I think I have just a few more episodes to go with that. Very zany, upbeat. It's got great humor. King the Land. King the Land. I did a video about this already. Probably one of my favorite rom-coms out there. It is not perfect by any stretch of the means. I mentioned this in the video that I made about it as well. It does lose its steam a little bit, but what I found so refreshing about King the Land was that it was one of the few rom-coms where its main focus was the romantic comedy. It was fluffy, it was sweet. Yuna is a revelation. She's so beautiful, she's so graceful, and she just brought a lot of charisma to that character that she plays. Junho as well is just like the perfect leading man for her. They just spark so well. Their chemistry is so good that you overlook a lot of the missteps that the show does because the chemistry is so solid. I think overall it's a great ride, and I like the fact that it remained fluffy and soft, and that it didn't have like weird subplots of like murder or massive revenge. It does have its antagonist, but it doesn't overtake the show, and it just goes off the deep end kind of a thing, in my humble opinion. I also saw See You in My 19th Life. I've done an episode of it as well. I really enjoyed like the first 8 episodes of See You in My 19th Life. I feel like it then started to get a little bogged down with the mystery, and there's a lot of twists and turns. I haven't read the webtoon that it's based off of, but I think the entire premise of it, of living 18th reincarnations, and in your 19th life deciding to reconnect with those from your previous life and wanting to find that love again and to kind of settle some scores, is really interesting. And I think the chemistry is really solid in this one. But it kind of gets bogged down a little bit. I still have to finish episode 11, and I think it went to episode 11, 12? I think it went to 12 episodes. So I still have to finish it, but I did kind of lose interest a little bit after episode 8, episode 9, so I don't know if I can recommend it. I would say I would recommend the first 8 episodes, because it's really beautifully shot. The acting is really good, and it's one of those shows that has really strong secondary and tertiary characters, in my humble opinion. But yeah, that's a basic recap of the K-dramas I've watched so far. There's many more that I'm going to be getting to, and there's some that are currently airing right now that I have to get into. But until then, I hope you enjoyed watching this. Tell me your thoughts. Give me some feedback. what do you think about these shows. Do you disagree with my thoughts on some of what I've said? Just let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. If you are listening to me via Spotify, thank you again. Please give me feedback, share, so I can get better, and then I can make more videos cater to what you want to see. Till next one, peace.